My wife cheated twice. I'm new to Reddit. But here's my story, told as concisely as possible. There are so many issues. I would like more advice on this subject. It all started when my wife F28 tried to break up with me M35 back in 2021. She's constantly gaslighting me about this circumstance. It happened last year, around April of 2021. Knowing what I know now, I can't help but wonder what else was going on. What monster lie in that maze she built for me? One time she claimed that she wasn't divorcing me in 2021, that she was only going to her mother's for the night, but I know it's a lie, because we were talking about co-parenting after the divorce, and I was going through my own PTSD with divorce, saying that it would hurt our beautiful daughter, who was 2 at the time, but is now 3. I told my wife that getting a divorce wouldn't be easy on the kid, as I would likely resent her for leaving us. I told her that I wouldn't become more cooperative after the divorce. I stated that I would make her life hell. Which is a little crappy. But I was trying to be honest. She stayed. We kept talking. Life went on. Apologies. Promises to work on things. I get very angry at certain behaviors, like when she gaslights me. I'm no saint here. I speak my mind and defend myself and my daughter, once I know that she's lying, or being negligent, or dishonest. But I might go too far. I have anger issues. I have a tendency to feel unloved in those situations. Anyhow, she signed up for college and got accepted. She never told me until she got accepted. Asking my opinion at that point. I was frustrated. Sneaky bullshit. I didn't want to stop her from following her dreams. But this was during the pandemic. We had a 2-year-old. I didn't want to get a sitter for fear of her being exposed more. When was my wife supposed to do her schoolwork? While my poor daughter was begging for her attention? I swallowed my pride, because she seemed to have already made this huge choice without me. She began acting very suspicious. Usually I ignore it. She's constantly accusing me of having an affair and trying to hide her phone and not looking at me all night. This time, in November, I did the Essity thing, and browsed through her phone and found a long conversation with a guy she once had a crush on. In the conversation, she said that she didn't want to be with me, that she felt trapped, and that I threatened her in order to make her stay. Apparently, I had been abusing her all along too. Yay, I count this as cheating. She never said anything to me about any of those major subjects. I was not aware that she wanted to leave me. But she told him. She never apologized and refuses to even acknowledge that it was emotional cheating. I'm curious about what everyone else thinks. I tried to leave her multiple times after this. I couldn't stomach to be around her. Everything she said felt like a lie. Like venom. All of the conniving and posturing. Acting all pure. What else had she lied about? She said she felt trapped, and I wanted to grant her freedom. Months passed. I stayed around for the kid. Cliché. We fought about it. Resentment built. She came to me in May and tried to have a separation. I pleaded for a divorce. She convinced me to stay and work on things, so I slept on the couch for a month. Uncomfortable. Bad sleep. I told her that I hated her. Turned out she was flirting with and eventually ducking our coworker. I called it, months in advance, but she lied and gaslit me the entire semester. She has gone back on this story in multiple ways, but she got drunk and happily spilled the beans, and she even slept with me simultaneously. I'm going to go get tested. Now she's apologized vaguely for this incident. But she likes to pretend that I gave her the go-ahead, when I specifically did not, and explain that when she threatened to duck someone else, or joke about an affair, I'd always say, go ahead, duck around and find out. For me, the clearest timeline I received from her places the start of the relationship building with him back in December or January, when she threatened to seek attention from other men. She has since recanted this version. She tried to say we were on a break, even though we never talked about opening up the marriage and she'd been flirting with him for months. She always moves the start date. The images and the betrayal and the abject humiliation have left me in a maze. I left for a while, but returned for my beloved daughter to preserve this lie of a life, and to work on things in life and in counseling. She claimed to not want anything with the guy, contrary to what she said drunk. But she eventually proclaimed that he wasn't talking to her anymore. Feeling like my marriage was over anyway, I went to hang out with another girl, and I told my wife immediately. She cried that she stopped talking to our coworker for me, contrary to her previous story that he ghosted her. Currently, I'm not sure about the efficacy of couples counseling. Especially for us. I no longer trust her. I tried to be more open with her sexually, but she's closed completely. After she let it slip that she watches PRN, an activity she used to call cheating, she tried to deny it, and then refused to let me understand any of it. And now claims that there is nothing wrong with PRN. Shady. We were at a friend's house today and I was slightly stoned. But she had the strangest conversation about hay and cakes and never forgetting. Specifically stating, she never gives her hay. She never gives us the good stuff. I was flummoxed about it and they kept using their codes. It triggered me. She was shocked that I remembered the conversation, tried to deny it at first and then fell back on I was only talking about hay. Shady. I think, even if this conversation was misunderstood by me, by some coincidence, that it really showed me how much I have to leave my wife. Because I can't even have a conversation with her, or be in a social situation. I humbly await your opinions. Redditor's reactions story 2 after. Redditor 1. Uck, the both of you sound awful. You manipulating her into staying and she by cheating on you. But y'all just need to co-parent for your daughter at this point. Redditor follow up. I came here to say something similar. Both seem to be highly manipulative people, and it sounds as though he's got some anger issues. At the least, it looks like they're toxic together. Redditor 2. Hey op, it truly sounds like neither of you want to be in this marriage or have anything to with each other. When someone wants to end it, manipulating them into staying never turns out well. Did that once she wanted to break up, so I proposed. So she totaled the relationship by cheating. I think after the two of you divorce, get some counseling together so you can co-parent without resentment and focus on the needs of your child. Redditor 3. She's been trying to leave you for years and you are threatening her to get her to stay. That's seriously messed up. Story 2. She told me tonight that she cheated back in March. Me 28M, her 27F, married 4 years this May, together about 4.5 years. No kids, 2 dogs, joint ownership of mortgaged house. Tonight, my wife engaged me in a conversation that was kind of a follow-up to one we had a couple weeks ago, wherein I told her that I've been struggling for a while with feelings of not having my Taimul needs met. That conversation had went well, and we agreed to work on things. Tonight, she said she's been thinking about that and said she just feels like she can't give what I need. When we married, we said the D word would never be in our vocabulary. We're both Christian and truly believed in living the God-instructed ways of being married, but she said she thinks we both deserve to be happy in this life, as we're both young and obviously not happy now. We've seen an employee assistance program counselor before, but I realized that wasn't the in-depth level of marriage counseling we obviously now needed, and I stated that and said we should first try real counseling like that to make sure we really feel the way we think we're feeling. She's been seeing a therapist on her own for issues from her past with abandonment and neglect by her mom, and I can't remember the details of the conversation here because this is where it happened, but she brought up her counseling and said, back in March I was feeling something and I slept with another guy. That night I told you I was going bowling with my friend from work up the next town up from ours, but I went to see him. It was a mistake. She kind of went on with the original gist of the conversation for a minute while I had my head in my hands trying to register what I just heard. It was as if the fact that she cheated was a nonchalant matter of fact. I said, you cheated on me? She said yes. I said, you had time with another man? She said yes. I asked who and she said it was a person from her childhood town she knew. She had been talking to him for a couple of weeks beforehand and then made the plans and went up. She said again that it was a mistake, and this is when I got angry. I growled, do not say it was a ducking mistake. You cheated on me. You knew what you were doing. She was speechless and I said I can't be here tonight. And I grabbed my keys and came to my best friend's, I call him my brother, house, and I've been here since, riding the waves of emotions hitting me and trying to comprehend this. She was pregnant in August, and had a miscarriage in October. I was so shaken with fury, I immediately worried the child wasn't mine, but she said she used a condom and had had periods since, and I soon thought critically about the fact that she was only at 8 weeks when she miscarried. All that to say, we've been going through the trauma of that too. But we celebrated her pregnancy after she had cheated. She lived that lie with me. Sorry for the long wind. Right now, I just need some support on these initial trauma stages and how to handle my emotions. Edit. I always wondered what it felt like to write one of these edits saying, wow, this really blew up. But for real, it did. All of the replies are getting overwhelming to try to engage with them all, but know that I'm reading everything and I appreciate the essence out of everything. I'm sitting in the doc's office at the moment waiting to do STD testing. Lawyer consultation schedule through the rest of the week. Therapy scheduled ASAP this Friday. Tonight, when she comes home, she'll hear that I never should have been the one to leave the house last night and that she can pack her stuff and vacate for the time being. And I don't care where, ain't my problem now. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, the way how casual she brought that up could mean that this wasn't her first rodeo. Nice Christian your wife is. I also wouldn't believe that it was only one time. She tested what would happen if she confessed to a little bit of her world of lies that she built up. Expect the worst and then go from there. Take your time now and stay at your friend's place for as long as you can. Separate from her for the rest of the year and meet with a lawyer to find out what a divorce would look like for you. Talk to friends and family about what she did and ask them for support. Since it was so easy for her to lie to you all the time, expect that they didn't use decedentum. Get tested for STDs right away. Please don't drink any alcohol or take drugs, they won't make it easier and you need a clear head now, more than ever. Don't bottle your emotions up, cry when you are sad and punch a pillow when you are angry. In the new year then, make a decision on how you want to go on. You are worth so much more than to be treated this way. Op answer, that's a good point, I'll plan to get tested ASAP. I really don't want to think this wasn't the first time, but you make a good point that it might not have been. I'll go forward with that in mind. Thankfully, I've never turned to the drink for other traumas, Marine Corps, deaths and SID stuff as a paramedic, so I don't plan to now, and also never touched drugs. I don't want to be subdued, I want the opposite, I want to experience life in its fullest capacity. Redditor 2, I guess divorce should be back in your vocabulary. See a lawyer and serve her. You could have been on the hook raising another man's kid. It's hard to see right now, but you are lucky you don't have a kid with her and the divorce should be pretty straightforward. 4 years in the scheme of things isn't that long. It will take a while to put all this behind you. Sorry buddy. Op answer, yeah, I'm already seeing the silver lining to the way this is happening. Thanks. Op comment, thank you all for the input so far. I want to add something to be clear. I have made sort of a decree for myself, even before I knew her, that there was no coming back from a woman cheating on me. Ironically, just a week or so ago I watching a movie in the ambulance with my work partner and the main character got cheated on by his girl, and I said if I ever got cheated on, that would be the end of it. Kind of makes me shiver to think about that. Redditor follow up, now you know what to do. She will try everything to minimize it, but don't forget if that child was the AP's and it was born, she would have kept her mouth shut and made you believe you are the father. She betrayed her vows she made to you, God, and both of your families. She's not much of a Christian. Let God do the forgiving on this one, divorce her and start over. You deserve a woman who treats you right. Good luck and I wish you healing, recovery, and peace. Update to 28M who was cheated on by 27F back in February. I swear every day I've thought about making this post, but so much has been going on. Sorry in advance for mobile formatting. There's a lot of details but I'm going to be as concise as possible. The following day her and I talked against the NC advice. I asked to see her phone to see text messages, evidence if she was sleeping with anyone else, still adamant about the one guy the one time. In looking through those I found the text thread between her and my work partner 21F, whom she had become good friends with since we started working together. I thought my partner and I got along great, we laughed our asses off every shift, did good work together on patients and whatnot, and just jived well. In the text thread, my wife was telling my partner of her intentions to divorce me and my partner was cheering her on and supporting her, as well as bad-mouthing me as a partner, saying she pretty much hated everything about me. So now it's two betrayals. I've since talked with my management and the two of us no longer work together and she's been avoiding me like the plague at work. I mentioned to me wife that the night before she dropped the cheating bomb, I was starting to mention counseling for the divorce feelings. I asked if that would even be worthwhile, or if it would just be a waste of time. I never really had the intention to reconcile because of the cheating, but I just wanted to know where she was. I said it seems like you emotionally divorced me a long time ago, and it seems like counseling would just be a waste of time, so should we waste our time? And she said no. I said okay, I'll figure out the lawyer situation. We agreed to be civil, she said she didn't want to fight. She really had her tail between her legs and still does. I then told her she had till 8 that night, about 4 hours to pack up and leave. I got back at 8 and she was gone, living with her dad now. We're in pretty good financial standing, but not very affluent, so with the cash we have we both would not be able to afford lawyers, so one of them I talked with is doing something for us called ghostwriting, They'll prepare our papers and walk us through the process of taking them to the court ourselves. I'm on my toes though. As soon as she shows a sign of a fight, I'll grab the cash and get that lawyer on retainer for myself. She's been mostly agreeable though. In negotiations she has relinquished a lot of belongings to me. I'm alone in the house now, getting my weekly counseling, which helps a lot. I had a boys' weekend that weekend with a good couple of buddies a couple towns up from mine. My friends and family are being so helpful and supportive. It still hurts like absolute hell, but I'm continuing to walk forward in my faith. On that boys' weekend, she said it's none of my business where you're going this weekend, you can turn the location services off on your phone. We look to see when each other is at the house and what not to avoid as much as possible. I replied, don't need to, like I said, I'm faithful to my vow. Anytime we've met face to face I've had 2 other people present to protect myself. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, you really should just no contact with her outside of anything to do with the upcoming divorce. Aside from working out the logistics and the arrangements, there is really not much more for you to discuss with her. I mean, as soon as the paperwork is done and she is no longer your wife, she won't play any further part in your life, so why forestall the inevitable? Redditor 2, wow, that partner of yours sure stabbed you in the back. How did that go over in your org? Op answer, in the EMS fire nursing police world, the first thought that comes to everybody is that the 2 people involved were sleeping together. I talked with each of my shift supervisors and laid out the facts. I said I know I have the high potential for getting my name dragged through the mud, so I'm gonna let you know the truth early. They were all cool. Everybody else has been like, what the FCK, you guys were the best crew. I say I know I thought so too. Nobody really likes her right now either, I'm definitely getting sympathy. One of my medic buddies got me a bottle of Jameson, lol, no, haven't even touched it yet. Redditor 3, you're still engaging her somehow as it relates to the sharing your location services. Cut those types of conversations out. You need full no contact except for divorce proceedings. You're only 2 weeks in. Stay on guard. It all starts uncontested until feelings get involved. Redditor 4, after reading your posts and comments I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, had it not been for your manipulative, lying EMT partner, your wife may have not cheated. Yes, she made the decision and you have every right to drop her like a hot rock. I would too in your shoes. But the more I read your comments, the more I think your partner was a snake in your garden trying to get your wife to bite that apple. With your wife's past traumas and mental health, it was pretty easy to manipulate her. I know you're done with your wife, but I really think you guys need an autopsy on this marriage. You should sit down with her and ask her about things your partner told her. BC, I guarantee you there's more to this than the text messages. They had face-to-face talks where she pushed your wife away from you with every word out of her mouth. I hope you find some peace, brother. Op answer, yeah, I'm starting to worry about that more and more. My wife and partner hung out, just the 2 of them, on numerous occasions.